Hello everyone, it's me Clayton. I just got finished watching The Devil All the Time, directed by Antonio Campos, and with an all-star cast including Tom Holland, Robert Pattinson, Sebastian Stan, Haley Bennett, Riley Keough, Jason Clarke, and Robert Pattinson. Now, when it comes to films of this type, of this dark thriller genre, it certainly would have surprised me if you told me this wasn't a film that was made by the Coen brothers. Which it isn't. It's, like I said, it's directed by Antonio Campos. But when it comes to the dark characters, the grisly violence, and the very methodical pacing, it does have a lot of similarities to films of that type. And while its dark content can be a little bit much at times, and its runtime can feel a little bloated, I do believe that the film is still quite good, mainly because of the great performances from its cast. So, well, let's get to the story, shall we? The story revolves around several characters in two towns in 1950s and 1960s America, Knock'em-Stiff, Ohio, and Coal Creek, West Virginia, where Arvind, played by Tom Holland, is the son of a soldier played by Bill Skarsgård, who ended up becoming a religious nutcase, especially after a certain incident in World War II. After he settled down with his family, several tragedies occur in Arvid's life from young childhood that catch up to him when he's a young adult and when he's living with a completely new family and having to look after his stepsister, Lenora. While that's going on, we also follow a pair of serial killers played by Jason Clarke and Riley Keough who lure various religious nutcases to their deaths. And we also find a new preacher in town, played by Robert Pattinson, who's not exactly squeaky clean as he first appears. Now, The Devil All the Time certainly doesn't have the dry wit or comedy that Coen Brothers films sometimes have to offset their drama, but I don't think that's what they were going for. They were going for a grim, gritty, take-no-prisoners style thriller, and you'll certainly get that when it comes to the content presented. The film's, for the most part, pretty well paced, having all these storylines mix in with each other, and just when one starts to feel a little bit too long, another one's right there to introduce a gritty scene or a scene that builds another one of the many characters. In fact, the author of the original book acts as the narrator for this film, and he does a fine job, even if his matter-of-fact delivery does feel like it's at odds with a few occasions in the film. But it's done so matter-of-factly that you get the sense that he isn't really glorifying the actions depicted on screen, he's just telling it like it is. And honestly, telling it like it is sometimes the best thing you can do when it comes to content that's this R-rated. Tom Holland actually does a really solid job, and it lets you know that he's actually pretty more versatile than you'd imagine, considering most people recognize Tom Holland for his role as Spider-Man. The same can be said with Robert Pattinson, too, as he gets to be surprisingly dark and rather slimy, considering his role doesn't exactly have as much screen time as you'd expect. Sebastian Stan also gets to play against type as a dirty cop, and I do think he does a good job with that kind of role. And Jason Clarke and Riley Keough have some great chemistry together, and it almost makes you forget that they're a serial killer couple at certain points, making you almost want to root for them at certain points when it comes to the people that they end up killing. The film is certainly dark as hell when it comes to its writing and when it comes to its content shown, but the story absolutely does have some things to say about the darkness of religion, the darkness of people in that era, and it also has some things to say regarding how these people managed to come together via lust or ignorance or religion or through pure circumstance. And I do think that the film's writing and pacing is strong enough. Though I would cut a few scenes that drag on a little bit too long, and I do think toning it down in a few occasions when it comes to the traumatic things that happen in parts of the story could have helped it ease in a little better. Still, the strong cast and great writing do make up for a lot. So that's why I'm going to give The Devil All the Time a 7 out of 10. See you next time.